Hi, this is Kate Olson, and we're here on the Embrace Change Radio website, and we're about to do a soul talk. And I'm here with Gigi Siton, and we're going to talk about how the body heals itself. I met Gigi in, I think it was 2017.
Yes.
At the, let's see, which symposium was this?
The Harvard Symposium.
Yeah, it was at the Harvard Faculty Club, and it was the Personal Development Symposium. And she did a very interesting presentation on her last book. And I'll let her tell you what that was. And then she's writing a new book now that has to do with the body's healing. But that's not going to come out for a while, so we're just going to talk about how the body heals itself now. And I'm going to let Gigi introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gigi from Holistic Physical Therapy from Houston, Texas. So I'm a doctor in physical therapy. I have an outpatient clinic called Holistic Physical Therapy. And this is why we're talking about how the body heals itself, because that's what I do every day. That's what I see. People come in pain and broken and sad and wants to get better. So I call it a practice of holistic physical therapy because you have to address a whole person. If they come in with the back pain, it's never about the back. It's always about more than just the back. If they come with the neck pain or shoulder pain, it's never just about the shoulder. So once you approach healing holistically and empower and teach our patient, it's a better healing. It's addressing the cause of the problem, not just a Band-Aid.
Great. Well, I just went through a little self-healing myself. Let's see, it's been just over a week ago, the day after my birthday. I was taking myself out to dinner at a Mexican restaurant because I love Mexican food and margaritas, and they had stairs going up. And so I was walking up the stairs and I had a shoulder purse. And it started to fall off, and I tried to catch it and went back and started to fall back. And I was able to reach out and grab the stair railing with both my hands and kept myself from falling, but I kind of swung back.
Oh, no.
Hit my, the side of my rib. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like a full body whiplash.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Probably.
I felt, like really sore. There was just a little bit of bruising here, but no bruising anywhere else, but it hurt everywhere.
Yeah, that's a trauma.
Yeah, so I looked it up, and I decided that, to do the things that I could do at home for the soft tissue bruising, and wait, a week or a week and a half to see if it was healing before I did anything. And turned out that's what it was. And it's almost gone now, the pain, but it took just about, a week and a half.
That's good. I'm glad you listened to your body. Some people have pain and they just ignore it until it really, makes it stop on what they're doing. Because the first thing I do, your body heals itself, like you said, but you have to give it hydration. You have to give it rest. You have to give it time to stitch you back together, because your body doesn't heal and then work at the same time. It cannot do that. It's either they're going to help you do what you do, you work, whatever activity you do, or you're going to heal with it. So, it can do everything. It's like when you get cut in your hand, if you just leave it alone, keep it clean, it doesn't get infected because it heals itself. So there's a there's a like a two-way thing. It will heal itself if you do the right thing, give it the right ingredients, the right environment, and the rest is natural. It's designed to heal.
Yeah, I did some extra resting, and I also applied really light vibration to help the blood flow.
Yeah.
Being as, you know, they recommended like soft tissue massage, but being as, you know, where things were located, that wouldn't be easy for me to do. So I just did the vibration instead.
Well, your rib, one of the most painful patients encounter I have is any rib injuries, because by design, God made your rib to be really much more pain sensors, because it's protecting your heart, your lungs, your internal organs. So any just a little bit trauma on the rib area is really painful.
Yeah.
And it's the good news is most, I would say, 95% of rib injury is trauma. So if you get a trauma, guess what's the the antidote for trauma is not more exercise, but rest. And
Yeah.
a little gentle, like you did, increase a little, superficial micro circulation, not macro circulation.
Right.
Like micro circulation, because most of my patients come to my clinic, just give me the right stretch and I'll get better. I said that's macro circulation. On trauma, you start with micro circulation, a gentle vibration, a little massage. Not even a deep massage would have helped you because it's very painful.
Oh,
So
yeah.
intuitively you knew what to do. Most of my patients intuitively, they kind of know what they need to be doing, because your body's wisdom has that. But most people don't listen to it. They just bypassed it and said, oh, this is a better technique. But your intuitive reaction is rest and a gentle microcirculation and hydration.
Well, the rest was intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
The micro vibration, that I read about it. I thought it was soft tissue. And so I read about what you would do for that, and it gave those suggestions. So
yeah, with anything, it starts with microcirculation. It's never macro circulation. Never start with macro circulation. So in my clinic, we always start with hydration, proper environment, and microcirculation. It's amazing how faster you recover if you start with soft, slow vibration. Microcirculation is called lymphatic system and the meridians. When you stimulate just those two, the meridians and the lymphatic system, your healing is so much faster. If you started with big major macro circulation like stretches and exercise, you would have not recovered as much.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because as I said, it was in the rib, but I felt it from my left ankle, my neck, my back, it was my knees, all through my body. It was from the trauma
yeah, and when you do that kind of action, it's never the rib got it's like the rib got the attention because it's the most painful, but essentially all your body was in pain.
Yeah.
Because it has to go through to counter the fall. You have to activate all those muscles to counteract the gravity before you hit the ground. And you were able to recover that. But to recover that, the rest of your joints are shocked.
Yeah.
So you hurt everywhere. The rib was just the most loudest, of all the pain.
Yes. So what are some other things that people should pay attention to help their body heal naturally?
Naturally, they should pay attention is hydration. Your shock absorber, you're 75% water. So you're hydroelectrically powered. Your heart, your lungs, your brain powered by water. So anything your body does needs water, whether moving your eyeballs, moving your tongue, thinking, breathing, needs water. So the first thing you do, like in the hospital, hospitals know this. The moment you get in the hospital, they give you IV. It's just water, saline water. You can do that at home every day because you use water all the time. Proper hydration is really the key, especially with the electronics that we use. All the electromagnetic field would really hurt our cells if we're dry, because the water neutralizes all electrical charges because it has a charge there too. So I would say the first thing you do is really hydration during the day. And you have to drink that before, like, I estimated 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because later than that, you're going to pee all night long, because it takes about your kidney 8 to 10 hours to clear that into your bladder. So drinking and timing is really the key too, because first thing in the morning, the reason why you pee is the byproduct of all the detox, or your body was busy when you were sleeping. So that's the most dehydrated part of most people. That's when you drink a liter of water, not coffee, because coffee is a diuretic. It takes away 1 glass of coffee. Your kidneys will take 3 to 4 glasses of water just to separate coffee from water. And people miss the point, like, oh, I need it to wake me up. And trust me, most of my patients that drink water, a liter of water in the morning with salt, saline water, they have so much energy. They never realize that it beats coffee every time, without the consequence of being diuretic of the coffee that's bad for your heart and bad for your bladder. So it's really much more in water. And I noticed that a lot of shoulder pain, back pain, headache, neck pain is really a dehydration problem.
Okay, well, I was also reading about dry air, or lack of humidity in the air, makes people more susceptible to, like viruses.
Yeah, and that makes sense to me, as my background is engineering, because your lungs, to protect your lungs and full condition your immune system, you have to maintain between 50 to 60% humidity. Drier than that, there's no circulation. Drier than that, the viruses are more active because there's no defenses inside your body. The first line of defense for your lungs and your is the respiratory, the lining. It needs to be a little wet to seal the virus away. If it's dry, it's cracked. It will let the virus come in. So it makes so much sense that you have to maintain certain humidity.
Yeah.
When it's too dry, your throat is dry, your skin is dry, there's no protection.
Yeah, they also said that, contrary to popular belief, that when, like say, virus, I don't know, whatever they are, microbes or whatever, is on a surface, and we think that after a certain amount of time it just dies or is dormant. And I guess that isn't really the case.
No, they're always around Earth way before we were. They live.
That when the dry air actually, like it brings them up and they come back.
Well, yeah, because if you study microbiology and cellular level, your best defenses is you have to have certain humidity. When it's dry, it's being in the house, in a very dry house environment, that's never normal. That's never normal, because your lungs is designed to be a little wet to be able to separate oxygen from hydrogen. So if you can't separate the two, you're weak. There's no oxygen circulating around your blood. So even it doesn't matter if the virus are active or not, but if you have no defenses, it's really not going to work for you.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the reasons why people tend to get, sick in the winter time, like when they're in the house all the time, and they have, the air just gets dry from the heating systems. And
so it's like a perfect storm during the winter, though, because the sun is out, you don't make D3 to improve your immune system. There's no solar power for your body because you're also solar powered. You're not just hydroelectrically powered, and you're not outside, which means you don't get fresh air. And it's like a perfect storm. And then houses are designed to be super dry because they'd rather, to maintain the walls, whatever. But if you go around the world, 2/3 of the world is not dry. Their house, they open the windows, they're not like central air conditioning. So this is really an abnormal environment. For me, I always keep a bowl of water with salt because the salt ionizes the air. Ionize means the positive charge and the negative charge, because viruses are positive charged. The one to neutralize that is the negative electro ion. And salt gives the negative ions. That's why when you go to a waterfalls or the beach, it has all the electron ion, and that makes you feel good. And you can do that with sea salt in the water. So I've always had in my house, I always have a sea salt and water. And I can see you have the lamp there, but you need the humidity with it, because just the salt and
just the decoration. It doesn't.
I know, but that's good. It works. That really works.
I have the salt pods that actually transmit the ionized salt molecules, so I know what you're talking about. But on a just normal basis, that's why they used to, when people were sick, they would send them to the seashore to heal, because they would be getting that salt air.
Well, your body is about 30% salt. Nothing works in your body without salt. So even your lungs need some salt in it. Mm-hmm. So in the third world, wherever you go, there's always a form of salt in the salt lamps or in the ocean, because not just salt, it's the ions from the salt that it gives away in hydrochloride.
Yeah, it's the positive and negative energy.
Yeah.
So what other things?
Where I see a lot of people that are just fatigued because they don't sleep. They take it for granted. And so they're 1/3 of the body parts only work at night. Like anything that produces endocrine glands, like your thyroid, your liver, your pancreas, your adrenals, they only produces the hormones you need for the day is during deep sleep. And people underestimate that. People underestimate the power sleep, and you're being fixed and stitched. I always tell my patient, you're being stitched one cell at a time during deep sleep. This is continuously. When people wake up to pee, that's not sleep, that's a nap. It also where your body detox at night. Not only you produces hormones, you also detox at night. And you also make new bones at night. So if you have osteoporosis, it's not like you're missing calcium in your diet, because you have enough calcium in the vegetables and in all you eat. You just don't sleep for you to make a new bone. And most women, they'll say, I have just osteoporosis. Actually, we have osteoporosis even on younger kids because they don't sleep at night. At 10-year-old on their their social media and stuff like that. Osteoporosis, osteopenia, because they don't sleep at night. To mention, they don't have salt in their diet, and salt is one of the raw material for your bones because they're on low salt diet, and calcium is fat soluble. So it's like a perfect storm. You don't sleep, you're fat free, you don't have salt, and you're dehydrated, and they wonder why they have osteoporosis, they have all this arthritis and inflammation. And I always tell them, hey, the basics here is you have to go to sleep. I was like, wow, it's hard to do, because they don't value sleep as much as exercise. And do you know that if you have a good sleep, you don't need as much exercise because your body's so much better.
But exercise is still good.
Well, in America, they always think you have to go to the gym, but walking is an exercise. Not sitting too much is an exercise. You know, you can incorporate it during the day, but you have to make time for sleep. You can't incorporate sleep throughout the day. You
Yeah.
have to make time for sleep. You know, exercise, you can do 5-minute walk, you can stand up, you can do stuff like that, but they, you know, people, when I ask my patients, do you make time for sleep or you make time for exercise? Like, well, I think exercise is more important. I said, no, based on anatomy and physiology, you are designed to sleep more than anything. You know, if you have to choose which is more important, sleep.
Mm.
It's more important than exercise.
Yeah. That's a hard one.
I know, because it's modern society. Since the invention of electricity, we learn how to put more activities at night, because then it extended the daytime. But that's never normal. We were never designed to be awake like you and me talking like this. It's by this time, it's never normal.
Yeah. They're hard habits to break, though.
Yeah, and human being physiology wise, it really haven't adapted that. It never, our physiology never like, okay, you know, they have their own clock, you have your own biorhythm, and it's always synchronized with the sun and the moon. That's why all the, you know, people go, you know, when I studied microbiome, your gut microbiome, whatever microbiome you have, they hatch during full moon. And your microbiome are little microbes that control our brain, that control our cravings, that control our mood. And that's why they said, oh, there's a full moon, everybody goes crazy. But when they look at the microcellular level, it's what kind of gut microbiome you have. So if you eat really bad, your microbiome during the moon and the nighttime will give you the bad attitude, depression. If you have a tendency for bipolar, it is from the microbiome.
Hmm.
So your diet makes a difference. You know, your diet and sleeping is the cure for all of that. So the sleep has so much, you know, to do what we do.
Well, I know the gut definitely has a big effect. And yeah, sleep is important.
Yeah, even if you exercise well, even you're eating vegetarian and so healthy, if you don't sleep, nothing works. It's like I always tell my patients, you know how you make chocolate cake? You have all the ingredients, you put the water, you have chocolate, you mix it. Do you leave it in the counter to make a chocolate? No, you put it in the oven, right? To
Mm-hmm.
make a chocolate cake. The oven is sleep. I don't care what exercise you do, what water you drink, you're, you know, vegetarian, all organic, whatever it is. If you don't go to sleep, you're still sick.
Yeah, that's true. That's when your body heals itself. So
Yeah. So the main healing incubation is sleep. That's very important. So when my patients come in, I always require, we need to talk about hydration. We need to talk about what's your diet. But the most important one, we need to start sleeping. You know, we need to start sleeping. And I was, you know, no electronics 2 hours before, or just read a book or go some music or lower the lights to cue your brain it's time to sleep. Because if you watch TV and do the computer, the blue screen, your brain thinks it's still daylight. That's why I have red, you know, my lamp is incandescent lamp because it has the red tint to it. Your brain will pick up it's nighttime. No LED at night, you know.
I guess they have blue blocker glasses
Yeah.
now for people.
Yeah, if you work in the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are things, if we value sleep so much more, you heal faster.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one takeaway. Hydration is big because it flushes all the best anti-inflammatory and the best blood thinner is water. You know, when you make something in the kitchen, if it's too thick, what's the first thing you put? water. And so people don't think about that on their blood. Oh, I have a blood thinner. It's like, why don't we try water first? It doesn't have a side effect. The worst thing you can do is you go to the bathroom and pee all the toxins. And your body, your heart, your lungs, your brain is the priority of water. You need it 24 hours. Whether you sleep and stuff like that, you need water on those three major parts. So when you don't drink enough water, guess where they borrow water from? We don't have the hump like the camel. So where would our body borrow water from?
Your tissues? I don't know.
Your cells, your muscles, the joints, the cartilage, because these are non-life-threatening parts of your body. So your body says, hey, let me borrow from my shoulder, let me borrow from my disc and your back. Oh, let me borrow, I'll pay you back when Kate drinks more water, when there's extra. But over time, chronic dehydration, your disc gets shrink, but your heart is still functioning, your brain still functioning. You wonder, where's the water coming from? Where your other joints, your bone is 35% water. Your body can borrow that too. So all this arthritis, inflammation, I have most of my patients go, oh, I just pick it this way, and it tore my rotator cuff. I said, how much hydration do you have? Is your body borrowing this water to somebody else, to some other parts of your body? We have to address that, and then when you start hydrating, my patient will say, well, I have these muscle spasms. I have all these spasms. Say, muscle spasm is like your body's engineering way efficiently. It will shut down the areas that is not needed for survival. So it will cut the water there. So it will spasm. That's the way it's spasm, because it's trying to prioritize your heart, your lungs, and your brain. And so if you have spasm, try to rest and do hydration. And usually it goes away. You don't need muscle relaxant. And the function of most muscle relaxant is just opening the valve, absorbing more water. But if you don't drink water, they don't work. I always tell them, when you take medicine, doctors always tell you, take the whole glass with your medicine. Actually, that water got you better, not the medicine. You just dehydrated.
Yeah,
but when you're taking
I mean, it's true that you need to pay attention to the basics like that instead of relying on the medications.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not anti-medication by no means. If you have acute infection, we need medication. But 75% of your body's water. So what I have 75% batting average. That is just dehydration. Let's try that, first. And then, just because you have high blood pressure doesn't mean you're low in metropolo. Just because you have diabetes, you're low on, metformin,
Yeah, I have a theory that we blame too much on aging, that a lot of things that people, as they get older, they say, well, I have to accept this because, that's just what happens when you get old. And a lot of it isn't really due to aging. It's due to, things that we're doing or not doing as far as taking care of our body.
Well, in their defense, misinformation kills so many people. There's so much confusing information out there. And so that really hurt a lot of people. So we have to go back to the basic. And then also aging is a convenient narrative that conventional medicine always say. If they can't fix you, oh, it's aging. If you have arthritis, it's aging. If they don't have a medicine for that, it's aging.
Mm-hmm.
But I see those diagnoses on 8 years old, bladder incontinence and all that, arthritis, and 5-10 years old. That is not aging. We see 2-year-old with type 2 diabetes, which we never saw before. I've been a PT for 32 years. I have never seen type 2 diabetes at 3 years old. These big, big, big kids. That's not aging, a
No,
lot of.
that's what I mean. When these things happened and people are getting older, they say, well, it's just because I'm getting older.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas maybe it isn't, you know?
Well, 80% is not. Yes, there's some factor, but you can age gracefully.
Mm.
And arthritis is never aging disease. It's totally reversible. But most patients, like, I didn't know that's reversible. Yes, it is. If imagine this: if you break your femur, your big bone on your leg, it heals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you not heal arthritis, which is so much more minor compared to a fracture? So that is healable. You hear people have cancer and they heal, but they have to make drastic changes. They have to be willing to give up their old ways, as Hippocrates say, before you heal someone, you have to ask them if they're willing to give up the thing that made them sick. So when I always tell them, are you willing to give up the things that make you sick? They're like, what do I have to give up? And I go, have 5 sentences that they have to sign and agree with me. And I would say about 10 to 20% of my patient would walk out in my clinic and say, that's too much. I can't do that.
So what are those 5 things?
Water.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Water, no coffee, no junk food, a lot of vegetables, a little bit of meat, 10% of meat, but 80% vegetables, and healthy fats. And most of them walk out because they love their coffee. I said, you're just going to give it up until you're better. And then after you're better, then you do whatever you want. But when you're under my care, I need water to work with me. I need water to repair your muscle. I need your water to flush all the toxins and inflammation. I need that extra water. And I was like, well, and they always negotiate. What if I drink this much water, but I still drink my coffee? Like, that doesn't make sense. Coffee is a diuretic. It takes so much water to just by drinking coffee. Your stomach, make a fist like this. That's the size of your stomach. I'm competing that real estate for water and coffee. Your body cannot take this much water, this much coffee. It's just not, possible. So you don't have the hump like the camel. Like, you could have a backup water when you need it, So at the moment, if you're my patient, okay, I need water.
Okay. Good explanation.
Yeah. But it sounds simple, but it's big on a lot of people. Coffee, they're just so.
Changing your habits it can be hard, but when you weigh the benefits, I think once you've done it, it's worth it.
Well, I always tell them, try it for 2 weeks. If your pain doesn't go away, then you can go back to your old ways. And 90% of the time, if they don't cheat on themselves, because they always think I'm the Nazi in water. They call me water Nazi. But when they really drink their water and they feel so much better, they go, we're not going back there. I said, I know. And they lose 10, 12 pounds. We have a gentleman that lost 42 pounds just by drinking the water. And they go, why don't I know this? I said, well, you were just so dehydrated. Your body cannot make water. You have to drink water. But your body makes fat. And guess what? When you're dehydrated, your body's going to start making fat to compensate, to hang on to things, So it's really, as a physical therapist, it's all about hydraulics. Your muscles hydraulics, your joints are hydraulics. The word is hydraulics. That means water. So if you really want to get better faster, water. And hospitals know that. They give you IV all the time.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah, that's their best money making.
Okay, so I would ask you, and I will ask you, but I think I know what you're going to say. What is one thing that you would like to, leave people with before we end today?
Well, what's one thing I really want people to know, which I didn't mention before, is your belief system runs your biology. So even if I harp about water, I harp about sleep, but if you don't believe it just doesn't happen. And whatever you believe, that's your biology. So when I see your body, I can see exactly what your belief system is, because that runs your biology. People that think they're not connected, and they are connected. So whatever your belief system is, that's your health, that's your biology.
Okay, so she said what I was supposed to say, so I'm going to say drink more water. So thank you. Thank you for having this conversation, Dr. Gigi.
Thank you
And
for inviting me.
yes, and thank you for listening. And I hope you got something out of this. And we'll talk to you again.
Bye bye.
Bye.